Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be folding laundry and answering your burning questions. So I asked for questions over on my Instagram, which is @bloom_journals. So you can follow me over there if you want to ask me more questions in the future. Or you can write them in the comments, whatever you want. So yeah, I'm just going to be going through those. First, as a quick little update, I did have to go to the hospital the other day. That was super fun. I'm totally fine, my baby is fine. Basically what happened was I have a bad UTI that was making my kidneys swell up, and that was causing me to cramp, and the cramps were causing me to have Braxton Hicks contractions. And so my OB was worried about me going into preterm labor. So basically she said to monitor them, and if they got worse to come in, and they got worse, so I came in the hospital for like 5 hours, but they got everything taken care of, got me some medicine, and everything is totally fine. So yeah. If I seem a little low energy, that's why, because I'm pretty tired still. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into the questions. Okay. First question says, what are your top 3 all-time favorite books? That is an incredibly hard question to answer, but I've been thinking about it because I glanced over these before I started here. And I think, okay, well, first of all, these change, you know, depending on where you are in your stage of life. But for me right now, I would say Dracula, my number 1. I love that book. It's so good. I love gothic horror. It's like my favorite genre. Such a fun read. Like, just so much fun to read. Second would probably be Anne of Green Gables. Dracula's by Bram Stoker. Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. I love that book. I talked about it recently in one of my reading wrap-ups. I can't remember which one, to be honest. May, I think. I love that book. It's very touching, very sweet. Again, a great read. And number 3, I kind of go back and forth on, but probably, you know what? Probably A Man Called Ove, by Frederick Bachman. I love that book. It is such a sweet book. It's basically like about a grumpy old man who is just like super crotchety and lovable. And I loved it. I thought it was so sweet. It's so wholesome. It made me cry in a good way. Yeah, so that's, I would say, right now, top all-time 3 favorite books. Okay, let's see, what's the next one? How did you know when you were ready to start your family? That's a good question. I think that's a good question because it's hard to answer. I guess if you're looking for advice, that's hard to answer. How did I know though? Basically, we had been married for about 3 weeks, and when we were engaged and dating and stuff, I was like, okay, you know, I want to wait 3 or 4 years before starting our family. I wanted to have a bachelor's degree before I got pregnant, and then we got married, and I was like, okay, you know, maybe a year. And then just it kept popping into my mind, and I was like, hey, I cannot stop thinking about this. Is this just like baby fever because I just recently got married, or what is, why am I thinking about this so much? And I talked with my husband about it, and we prayed together and separately, and I read a lot of scriptures, and I don't know, we just got a really strong prompting that we needed to start trying. And at that point I was on the depot shot birth control, and that takes 3 months to wear off, and I had just gotten a new shot, and so it wouldn't be like worn off till May basically. And so We had to wait a few months before it would wear off, and then I had a hard time ovulating after I got off of it, and I did have to be on medication. So it took about 10 months-ish for me to get pregnant with the help of some medication. So yeah, I guess I knew that I was ready. Well, I've always wanted to be a mom, and that helped a lot, that knowledge that that's something that I've always felt very called to, and I've always felt very maternal. So for me, it was never a question of if I wanted kids, but when I wanted kids. So I think that helped for me. But yeah, I just prayed a lot and trusted in God that He knew what was right and that His timing would be correct. And I had a really hard time when I wasn't getting pregnant yet, and we didn't know why. And that was pretty difficult, but I don't know. I just trusted that the Lord's timing would work out, and it did. And now I'm pregnant. We're having a baby in October. So I'm really excited, and I'm glad that we had that kind of year to just be married and be together, because I think that helped a lot and helped both of us grow a lot. So yeah, that's how I knew. I don't know if that's, helpful, but I think with big decisions, it's always a good idea to go to the Lord first and have faith. Easier said than done, right? But that's the best advice I can give. Okay, next question says, what is your favorite part of journaling? This is also a good question. I think for bullet journaling, which I guess that's probably what that meant, because that's the only journaling I really share, is I love that it gives me the opportunity to be really creative and show my creativity, while also giving me a space to write down my personal thoughts and feelings. I'm really bad at journaling when it comes to just like having a blank journal and writing my thoughts down. I always forget to do it, but something about bullet journaling for me, like if I can make a cute spread that is like about my goals for that month, then I'll write down tons of things that I'm thinking about, and I think it's a much better way for me to document my life, because I think it's important to have that documented. But yeah, I think probably just the creativity aspect of it, the fact that I get to think of new themes and new ideas and be creative and new layouts and designs and stuff like that, and it's something that I just really enjoy. Okay. How far along are you in your pregnancy? I am 25 weeks pregnant. I'm due October 6th, so we'll see when I have my baby. I know when you're with your first babies, you're statistically more likely to go later than your due date, but I kind of have had a feeling that she'd be born early, so we will see. Have you had any weird cravings? I don't think I've had any cravings that are weird as in like something you shouldn't eat or just like a weird combo. I've had lots of cycles of cravings. Like I haven't craved one thing throughout my whole pregnancy. It's been like every couple of weeks I'm like, oh wow, I really want to eat that, and I'll crave something. In my early pregnancy, I did eat an entire jar of pickles in like one sitting. But I've always loved pickles, so that's not super surprising. Okay, next question. Where do you get your maternity clothes? So the only maternity clothes that I've purchased is this pair of shorts that I'm wearing that you can't see. They're biker shorts. And then a pair of leggings, which is just the same thing as these biker shorts but long. I got those from a company called Stork. It's STORQ. And I like them, but I will have to say these shorts have some holes in them already. They had them like, I wore them once and then I noticed them, so I don't know if they were there during packaging or what, and they're just like little holes, so I don't know if they got cut up or something when it was being packaged or what. And my leggings, the seam is starting to come off a little bit, but I'm pretty bummed by that because they were definitely more expensive. The shorts were $60 and the leggings were $70. I purposely got ones that were more expensive because I was like, hey, this is something that I can wear in all of my pregnancies. I'll want to have this, so I'm gonna get something high quality for my first pregnancy. That way I can keep it for subsequent pregnancies. So yeah, I was kind of bummed by that they're kind of have those issues when I paid so much money for them, because I was expecting a higher quality product for the amount of money that I paid. But they're really comfy. So I don't know, they have lots of good reviews. The fabric is super, super soft. They're really comfortable. They're pretty easy to like take care of, to wash and stuff. So I don't know. And then I have a few shirts that my sister let me borrow. She had them from her pregnancy, so she just let me borrow a few. So yeah, those are the only like maternity specific clothes that I've bought or borrowed from people. Most of my clothes I just wear, like this is just a regular shirt, and some of my clothes are definitely getting small for me, and there's some clothes that I can't wear, like basically all of my pants I can't wear anymore because they're too small, and I like high-waisted pants, so I couldn't wear those really fast into my pregnancy because they were too small really, really quickly, because I'm a pretty small person too, so like they fit me well before I got pregnant, so any amount of weight gain made them really, really tight, and so yeah. So I can't wear those anymore, but most of my like shirts that I have are just regular shirts. They're not maternity specific. They're just ones I've had before, and then same with dresses. Most of my dresses are pretty flowy, so I've kind of just rolled with that. Okay, last question. What's the hardest part about running your business? I think the hardest part is probably the hardest part is probably figuring out how to sell what I'm making, because I don't want to be super pushy, but you kind of have to, you have to push a little so that people know that you have a product, but it's just like figuring out the marketing of it is kind of hard for me, because I don't want to be super pushy or anything, but I also want people to know. And then it's also like the other part of that is how to figure out how to explain what I know my product is. So like for instance, right now I'm creating a mental health journal. It's like a journal workbook, and it's all about mental health, coping with mental health in different stages, from solving a problem in the moment to preventing problems to planning to the future, and creating goals and stuff like that. And so as I've been creating it and creating each page, I've had to go through and redo quite a bit of it, but I've been having my sister kind of act as like my editor, and she goes through and tells me, okay, you need to change this or make this more clear. And the number one thing has been like, okay, I know you know what you're talking about, but you didn't explain it. And so that's been a hard thing for me, is like figuring out, okay, how do I explain this in writing in a way that it's super simple and easy to understand and not overwhelming, and people actually understand what I'm talking about. Because I know that if I sat down with somebody, I could explain it to them, but I want to be able to explain it to them in writing and not just through spoken word, because it's a journal, so I'm not gonna like include voice recordings of me being like, okay, so this is what you do. You know what I mean? So that's been kind of hard for me. And then another hard thing, I know this said what is the hardest thing, but I guess I'll just tell you all of the hard things. Another hard thing is just being consistent and remembering to post things and figuring out like what to post, because sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't know what to post about. And sometimes life happens too. Like, you know, this week I had to go to the hospital, and then yesterday, so I had to go to the hospital, today's Thursday, had to go to the hospital on Tuesday, and then yesterday I had a migraine all day and it was like extremely sick, and my body was still so tired from the stress of being in the hospital, and having the cramps and stuff. And so I haven't posted anything, you know, like on my Instagram and stuff, because it's just like, that just isn't a priority when you can't move. Like, you know, when you're in a lot of pain, you know, then that's hard to find the time or energy or like know what to post, especially. So yeah, I guess those are just some insights into running a business that not everybody thinks about. And then I guess the last thing I'll say about it, I'm kind of rambling now, but the last thing that I'll say about it is, this is actually probably the hardest thing, is just being confident when people ask me what I do. Because even at the hospital they were like, oh, are you working? Are you in school? And I was like, I'm a YouTuber. I make YouTube videos and I have a small business. And they're like, okay, we'll put self-employed, and they were super nice, but it was just like, I just feel so silly saying that for some reason. But it's what I do and I love doing it, so I don't know why it's so hard for me to say like, yeah, I make YouTube videos and I have a small business and I really enjoy it, you know. So I think having the confidence to tell people about it, which kind of goes back to the marketing thing, which is the first thing I said, but yeah, that's hard for me, because I think people see YouTube and small businesses as kind of a silly thing to do. Which I think part of that stems from jealousy of, which, not saying that people are like jealous of me, but you know, you might see a big YouTuber and think, oh, well, they don't do anything all day, or, you know, that's not a real job. But in reality, what you're thinking is, I wish that I could do something I'm super passionate about and make videos about it and work for myself and have that freedom, you know, and be able to make money from it. That's a cool thing. I don't make any money from this right now. I still have to grow some more before I can do that. But yeah, I think a lot of the times when we think things are silly or dumb that other people do, it's because we wish that we could do it. And it's easier to think that it's silly than to acknowledge the fact that you wish that you could do something like that. Which again, not saying people are jealous of me, but just like in general. So yeah, that's what I have to say about that. That's all the questions. Again, if you guys want more videos like this, let me know, because they're super fun and I have a lot to say about basically everything. And I really enjoy this kind of stuff. I enjoy watching these types of videos, so yeah. Follow me over on Instagram at bloom_journals and ask me more questions, and I'll make another video like this because it was super fun. And I'll see you guys next time.